Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Smith and welcome to my channel. I have a fall DIY for you today. In today's crafting adventure, we're going to be making this wooden stacked pumpkin garden stake. It's perfect for dressing up your patio for fall. It's safe to use on a covered patio, or you can place it in a decorative pot and display it indoors. Let me show you how to make it. Here is a list of the tools and materials I used to complete the project. For your convenience, I've also included a detailed list in the description box below. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, you're going to need 3 pumpkins to do our stacked pumpkins. You're going to need one of these pumpkins that has the 3-dimensional. You'll need one plain pumpkin. And then you'll need one of these signs. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove any of the hangers. You're going to want to remove the little raffia bow and this little leaf. Now on these 2 pumpkins, they did use hot glue to attach the bows and the little leaf. Just get off as much as you can. If you can't get it all off, that's okay. We're going to be putting another bow up here. And down here, the other pumpkin will be covering this. So on this pumpkin, to prep it, you're going to want to go ahead and sand off all of that glitter and try to remove as much of the glue as you can. If you can't get it all off, that's okay. We are going to be covering it. So I just take my sandpaper and I go in circles and get all that glitter off. The pumpkins are all prepared and ready to go. Now for these 2 pumpkins, I pulled out some decorative paper that I'm going to be using. I'm going to cover this one in this pattern. And then I'm going to be using this pattern for the raised parts on this pumpkin. Both of these sheets came from a Craft Smart paper pad that I picked up at Michael's. This one is Chesterfield Hall. I will put the SKU number in the description box below. Okay, so for this pumpkin, just go ahead and turn over your paper, place your pumpkin on the back, and then you're going to want to go ahead and trace that out. Okay, and then you're going to want to go ahead and cut that out. And then on this one, you're going to go ahead and lay the paper over, and then you can feel where it is, the lifted part. And then I just kind of press down until it makes a crease so that I can see where I need to cut. See, so as I press down, it gives me a crease on the back, and then that way I can cut it out. Okay, so go ahead and get your pieces cut out for your pumpkins. Okay, so I have my little pieces cut out. You want to go ahead and set those to the side. Now on my big pumpkin here, I did have a little space over here where it still showed some of the orange pumpkin, so I just took a black Sharpie and covered that space so that it's not noticeable once I apply my paper. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and paint the middle pumpkin, and we're also going to paint the trim on this pumpkin. Now I pulled out Granite Gray in Apple Barrel, and I've also pulled out Pavement. Now I want it a little bit darker than the granite base, so I'm going to add just a little bit of the pavement to make it darker. Okay, so I'm just going to dab my paintbrush into the pavement. Just get a little bit on there and mix it in with the gray. I just want to darken this up just a little bit. Just got to make sure you mix the paints well. Okay. And I'm just going to go in and paint my pumpkin. I'm also going to paint right around the edges here on the lifted parts. Just in case my paper doesn't completely cover, it will still blend in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint this, and I'm going to paint this pumpkin the same color. Okay, so on my big pumpkin here, I'm going to add a little bit of dry brushing, and I'm just going to be using the Pavement. I have kind of a rough brush. Just tap a little bit into the pavement. Make sure you remove any excess. And then I'm just going to give some curves to my pumpkin, just to make it a little bit more three-dimensional and have a little bit more character. Now you don't need a lot. A little will go a long way. The key to this method is you want to make sure you have a broken up brush like that. It'll make it much easier. So again, dab in a little bit. And you want a dry brush. And then go ahead and add in some curves to give it a little bit of dimension. You kind of go around the sides. Okay, and then when you're happy with it, you want to go ahead and set that aside. Okay, so while the other two pieces are drying, we're going to go ahead and move forward with this pumpkin. And we're going to attach our paper. And we're going to do that using matte Mode Podge. Okay, so you want to get a good even coat all over your pumpkin. You want to make sure that you get all the way around the edges and that it's a nice even coat. Okay, once you have that down, I'm going to go ahead and place our paper over the top. Just do your best to line everything up. Go ahead and smooth it out. Make sure you get any air bubbles out. And then because this is going to go outside, I'm going to put a nice coat of Mode Podge over the top. This will help protect it from the moisture of being outside. I don't want the paper to peel off. So make sure you get around those edges to help seal, and that you get a good coat all the way around. So you just want to make sure that you have a nice even coat of the Mode Podge. I just kind of keep going back over it and moving it. Make sure to clean up around your edges so that they're all nice and sealed. And if you didn't get your paper placed perfectly, that's okay. Once this is completely dry, we can fix that. Okay, once you have a nice even coat over your pumpkin, you're going to want to let that completely dry. And you're going to do the same thing to the smaller pumpkin. So I have my pumpkins done. I'm really happy with the way both of these came out. I really like the texture. I did the same thing with the pavement on this that I did here. I wanted them to go together. And then on this pumpkin, now that it's nice and dry, to clean up the edges, you want to take your sandpaper and go through, and you just kind of drag down and away if you need to clean anything up. Okay. And then I wanted to add some texture to this as well. So I like using one of these little pouncing brushes. This works really well. Go ahead and dab it into a little bit of the pavement to get it just on the edge. And then I just go around and hit all of the edges. And then with just this edge, go in and add in some of the lines so that it looks like it's a pumpkin and it doesn't look flat. Okay? You're also going to want to paint one of these galvanized words, welcome, in the pavement as well. And I found to paint these, again, it's better to use the pouncing brush and to pounce on. And I've only got one coat on here, and as I can see some silver coming through, so I'm going to put a second coat on this. And what I found to get the best coverage, instead of trying to paint with a brush, is I just go in and pounce over the whole word with the paint. Now it might look really textured while you're doing this, but once it dries, you won't be able to see that at all. So you want to get those painted and let them dry. Okay, next thing we're going to do is I want to wrap my stem here with some jute cord. So I'm going to start on the back and just put a little bit of hot glue there to start my jute cord. And I just lay my jute cord right in the glue. Need to give it a second to set up. And then you're just simply going to wrap around and wrap that stem. And it's okay if you overlap. I found that if I do overlapping, it actually looks better as a stem. So just go ahead and keep wrapping until you get your stem covered. Go ahead and hit it with a dab of glue every once in a while to make sure it stays in place. Okay, so I got my stem wrapped in my jute, and I'm really happy with that. And now I'm going to make a bow, and I'm using the black and white gingham that I picked up from Dollar Tree. This is 5/8 of an inch by 9 feet. You're also going to need a small piece of floral wire. Go ahead and cut it about 3 or 4 inches in length. And then you want to cut a piece of ribbon that's about 6 inches. That's going to be for the tail. And then just go ahead and make a bow. I just go back and forth. I'm going to make a double bow, so I want 2 loops on each side. And then cut it, and then take the piece that's your tails and put it on the back. You just need to make sure you're in the middle. And then you're going to take that wire, wrap it around the center, and pull it to the back. Pull it nice and tight and twist. And then that's what your bow looks like. Okay. Now we're also going to be reusing the little metal leaf that came off of the large pumpkin. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the leaf down and our little bow. That metal gets hot with the hot glue, so be careful. And then I'm going to attach my bow. So it looks like that. Okay, now we're going to attach all of our pumpkins together. And I'm going to be stacking them on top of each other. So this one will go on top of the bottom one. And then this one will go on top of the middle one. Okay. Now to do this, I'm going to use a combination of the Gorilla Wood Glue and hot glue. I'm going to go ahead and put the Gorilla Glue on the top pumpkin. And I'm going to put hot glue on the bottom pumpkin. And go ahead and place your pumpkin. If you get any excess glue coming out, just wipe it off. Those two are attached. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Put wood glue on the top pumpkin. And then hot glue on this one. Now the stakes that I'm going to be using are these, and I picked these up from the 99-cent store. They were $1.99. They are hardwood stakes and they are 35.4 inches in length. Now the reason why I'm going to use these is because I am going to put this outside. I am going to be sticking it into a pot that gets watered. So the hardwood will not warp or bend when water hits it. You can probably pick something up like this at Lowe's or at Home Depot. You just want to make sure that it is ideal for trees, shrubs, vines, tomato, vegetables. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 of these. So go ahead and turn it over. Now the reason why I'm using 2 stakes is because it gets very windy here, and with one stake the pumpkins can twist back and forth. So by using 2 stakes, I won't have that issue. Where I put it is where it's going to stay. Okay, and I'm going to again use hot glue and the wood glue to glue these down and to get them into position. So I'm just going to lay them down, make sure I have enough of the stake, and then I'm just going to mark at the top where they are because I want to make sure they're both the same length. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some wood glue down. Kind of move it all the way down. And add some hot glue. Just hold it down till that hot glue sets. The hot glue is going to give you that instant hold, and then the wood glue is going to give you that long-lasting permanent hold. Because I am planning on putting this outside, I want to make sure everything is fully secure. Now because these are stacked, you're going to have to put extra hot glue at the tip, because it's not going to want to make contact with the board. Okay, so you're going to want to attach the other one in the same way. Okay, so the stakes are on, they're nice and secure, and then I went ahead and glued on my welcome sign. Now, I had some trouble getting this to stay down. Hot glue will not work because this is a freshly painted surface and it does not like to stick to freshly painted surfaces. So I had to use my Gorilla Super Glue. I put it on the back of the sign, I put it in place, and then I had to put books on top of it to get the sign to lay flat long enough for the glue to take. Another tip is that one step that I did not do, which I suggest you do, is once the paint has dried on your galvanized word, to go over it with Mode Podge so that the black does not chip and flake off. Just attaching it to the pumpkin, I had some pieces come off, so I had to go back and repaint them. Okay, but I'm all done. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's craft. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. Thanks again for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. I hope you and your family are all staying happy, healthy, and strong. You have a great day, and I will catch you next time.